G'day all. Hope you're having a good day wherever you are, wherever you're watching. This is not a sports video, okay? This is the opposite. This is politics. So if you're not into that, have a good day. So, Pauline Hanson, One Nation. What does one make of her? Okay. Look, I don't dislike Pauline Hanson for the fact that she struggles to use big words. Like, you know, a good vocabulary comes from like reading, and if you don't get the chance to read as a young person, then perhaps your vocab's not, as strong as others, and you struggle to say big words in front of TV cameras. I don't dislike her for that. I don't dislike her for not being very smart. In fact, she's stupid. Look, if you have any doubts about how intelligent she is, look up the video where she's grilling a naval officer about submarines, about how long they can stay underwater. And look, if you're a senator, if you're responsible for making laws for a country of millions of people, maybe if you think that a sub can stay underwater for 20 minutes, maybe you're not in the right job. Okay, but I don't dislike her for the fact that she's stupid and struggles to speak sometimes. I mean, what I dislike about her, what I hate about Pauline Hanson, is the fact that she uses her privilege and power to pick on the powerless for her own political gain. I really hate her for that. So maybe the P's explain. Okay, she picks on the powerless to promote her own privilege and power. And if I was talking to Pauline right now, I'd say, those P's explain why I hate you. And I don't hate many people. But look, I'm going to back up, why I say that. But if anyone, I don't begrudge people supporting her, because, look, there is lots of information getting thrown around and people are exposed to certain things and they made to feel a certain way. This is messaging. This is political. It's been going on since day dot. Another word for it is propaganda. And if you're going about your daily work and you see stuff on your phone or whatever, and you go, oh yeah, I believe that, yeah. Like, if you do that over and over again, that's what you come to believe. There may be no basis in truth on what you're seeing and what you're reading, but look, you vote how you want to vote. All I would say is just make sure it'd be good if you understand why you vote, really, what's that person stands for. Anyway, Pauline, so here we go. Imagine a family goes camping and they go on the coast and they find this beautiful spot. Beautiful, pristine, no one else there. And they've got the place to themselves. And they go, my God, this is like unreal. How good is this? And they stay there and they live in the dream. And it's amazing. And they play on the beach of an afternoon and have a fire and have a drink. And they're there for a few days, and then this other family turns up. And straight away you go, who are these guys? How dare they come to our spot? And so there's a bit of tension. But then you sort of nod, say good day, how you going? Have a bit of a chat. And it turns out that they're just like you, like they like the same things you do, and they're sensible, and then it's, before you know it, these two families, total strangers, are now enjoying this place. And they're playing beach cricket of an afternoon and sitting around the fire at night time and having a yarn. It's great. And they're loving it. And they're there for a few days, and then third family turns up. And these two families go, what are they doing here? How dare they come to our place? And so on, and then they go, oh, g'day mate, how you going? Yeah. The three families are suddenly living the dream. And before you know it, they've got themselves a little community. And each time someone comes into that little community, straight away you're suspicious. You know, sure enough, a fourth family turns up. And you're worried, are these guys going to be playing doof music at 3 o'clock in the morning? And do they smash their beer bottles in the fire? Do they, do donuts on the grass? All these legitimate worries. Turns out, no, they just like you. And so you've got these four families, this community. That's great. And like, this is humanity. This is what it means to be a human. Like, and this community grows, and then suddenly you've got a society. Everybody strives for that. And so, who is not welcome to this society? Well, the people who don't meet those expectations. The people who steal while you're asleep. They'll go into your tent and steal your stuff. Look, it's a no-brainer. Communities like to be with people like themselves. The trouble is, what Hanson wants to do is have this community, but not allow or not welcome people who they don't like playing beach cricket of an afternoon. Maybe they prefer to go and sit on a rock and meditate. They don't like barbecues. Maybe they prefer salad wraps for dinner, and so they sit apart, from the barbecue and have their salad wrap. Doesn't make them bad people. Just different, And Hanson, look, basically when it's all boiled down to it, it's just racism and stoking the fear of essentially crime. And she uses the bad actions of a few to tarnish entire types of people. And you saw it at the Bondi shootings. Now, those two guys, look, their fate was deserved. You can't go around killing people on a beach. No one in Australia condones that. Terrible, terrible. But there's a place for people who commit these crimes, and if they're not taken out by the cops, there's a thing called jail, and jail's full of these people who don't meet our expectations. But if you listen to Hanson, then the current state of affairs is people just do what they want. Just do what they want, and just not only do what they want and get away with it, but take over, like Sharia law. Suddenly we're going to have Sharia law. Like, it's just BS. Look, denigrating people for your own benefit. Like, okay, in my community, there are people. Okay, I'll know a few. Like, there's a guy called Ali, cooks kebabs, great kebabs. He's a great guy. He's smart, he's hardworking, he's caring, his family are awesome, they're hardworking. They're from Pakistan. They're Muslim, and they're amazing. Muslims, Charles, Dave, from Africa, black as ace of spades. Fantastic people, hardworking, funny, great people. Their families, great people. Like the Chinese couple who cook noodles. They've been here for 20 years, working their butts off. Lovely. Like there's look, hundreds I don't even know. But we all know people My daughter works in aged care, and she works with Nepalese and Filipino people who are skilled, diligent, caring for the people they care for. And this whole targeting of people who aren't Aussie and as if they're not as good as Aussies really annoys me. And it's a deliberate choice. And that's not to mention the Aboriginals. Oh, wow. The racism towards Aboriginals that Hanson has shown over the years. The Australian Indigenous population have suffered so much systemic disadvantage over a couple of 100 years. Look, they deserve a leg up. Whatever. We've come into the house, trashed the house, and walked out and gone, deal with it. So if we give a bit extra to Aboriginals, like say education, to help them, there's no more deserved people. But the irony of a group of people living their life and not wanting others to come in and change their way of life, the irony is incredible. Anyway, look, you don't need me. If you know nothing about what white man has done to Aboriginals systemically, like as a whole, not individually. Obviously, individuals, we don't need to apologise. Who opposed the apology? It wasn't the Labor Party, it was the Liberals. Who wouldn't even do the treaty last year before last? Just a treaty, just to say, look, hey, sorry, we stuffed up. It wasn't me that stuffed up, it was our forebears. Just a treaty. Who opposed that? It certainly wasn't the current government. So to blame them, look. Anyway. Welcome to country. Look, at big sporting events, welcome to country. Personally, I think it goes on too long. You've got athletes warmed up, they're mentally primed for biggest game of their life. They've already got to sit through the national anthem and do the formalities, and I think the welcome to country is too long. I mean, something a history lesson, geography lesson, but the principle of, hey, this used to be our place, everyone's here, you're welcome, have a great night. The principle's sound, the principle's good. It just doesn't need to be a big song. The production value is getting way too good, way too high, too long. But look, it's a bit like if you invite your mates over to watch the footy, like the grand final, you come into the house and they're there, and then the wife comes in and just says, look, hey guys, thanks, thanks for coming over, you're welcome. You might spill some beer, you might spill some food, you might swear a bit, but you're welcome. Have a great night. And it's just that little blessing, it's just nice, It's just nice to have a welcome to country. But again, I'm not complaining about it. If you don't like it, Look, Pauline Hanson, she divides the country. That's undeniable. She's stupid, but she's cunning. But she is stupid. I just think if you take her out of the equation, suddenly we live in a much more unified place. I mean, what are the people supposed to think when they're down the supermarket? People from other countries, when they're doing their shopping, and they can see these people, white Australians looking at them, what are they to think? You know, like they thinking, these people want us here. These people hate us being here. They resent us. Like, how must they feel? Look, that is a terrible indictment of what we've done. If your skin is not white, I'm telling you, you are welcome here. You are probably better people than I am. You know, like you don't ever let Hanson put you off. Don't ever let Hanson make you feel as if you are not actually welcome and not a valued part of our society, because you are. You know. It's we've built a community, we've built a society. There's many facets to it. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. Australian values, okay. Well, one value of Australian is not to pick on weaker people. I think that's a strong value. Don't go around picking on people, bullying people. Don't throw rubbish around. Don't, like, violent crime. You know, look at the violent crime over the years. Who's done the worst? Who are some of the worst violent criminals in our history? I would suggest that it's not people from overseas. I would say it's not black people or brown people. You know, I'm thinking, Martin Bryant killed, 20 odd people? The killers of Anita Corby. Could go on and on. Desi Freeman killed those coppers. What? The people up in Gunnedah who killed those coppers. Like, and yet Hanson makes out as if it's Muslims who are the bad people. I've been to Lakemba. My sister lives in Lakemba. Hey, I've met heaps of Muslim people living in Lakemba. Wonderful people. Look, no, Hanson, I've had a gut full of you. The sooner people can see through you, the better I think we'll all be. That's my honest opinion. And look, if you don't agree with me, like, there's no need to troll all these messages with this thing. You know, have a crack at me for substance rather than my opinion, because I've just given you my opinion. You're welcome to yours. But anyway, have a good day.